What is going on, YouTube? PPS here, back. Early morning edition of our YouTube free plays. It's going to be a pretty small slate today. No NBA, probably about 15, 20 college basketball games. So, pretty small sample. I'm going to have a few games here and there, but obviously building up everything for tomorrow's action, where you're going to see a ton of the big teams in action. Last night, we had a sweaty one here. Ended up cashing in on the under 150 or under 59 and a half. First half, South Dakota State. I think we lost by 4. Personally, did have the South Dakota State team total in there as well, and I was going back and forth on which one should have got the YouTube free play. Unfortunately, I picked the wrong one, and we ended up dropping that one. So yeah, 1-1, juiced out, 0.2 units down. Yeah, unfortunate. I thought they were really going to get there. Western Illinois did nothing to help. South Dakota State up into the 90s like expected. I just really did not expect South Dakota State to shut them down that much. Obviously, it is at home, and it was a big game, but to clinch the conference. But still, end up losing that one by a couple. Did end up going 4-2 soccer yesterday. We did drop our max. I didn't even drop it for free, thank God. VIP ended up getting that one. We ended up losing that one, but that's how good of a day we had yesterday. Still positive after the max play loses. We had Northern Colorado team total over, and they got shut down by Idaho State. One of the weirdest games I've ever seen. It was very, very physical, but it happens. I'm just happy when the refs are going to call stuff, they call it consistent. That's all I ask for. And I just ask, please, NCAA, if you ever get to see this video, please teach your refs how to call a block. Just because a dude falls over don't mean it's a charge. And it is really, really tough to see because it's bad. This season is really getting bad with these refs calling charges on every time a guy falls over. But I digress. We're back. We're going to give you one play today. Will be traveling today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do one from my room. So we are traveling for a baseball event here. This weekend going to be cold, but hey, we're going to go. We're going to do it. Guess what? We won our under yesterday. So why not go to another under? We're going to the MAC, and we're going to an under. I know 2 words you never thought I'd ever say. It's going to be Ohio versus Kent State. Kent State, the nemesis of the Toledo Rockets, taking them down last game. And now Kent State is actually at the 3rd place spot, 2 games out of first, Ohio being that number 1 seed. So if Ohio loses this one, Toledo's in the first. And then Kent State will be 1 game behind Ohio, 1 game behind Toledo. And they will actually be holding the tiebreaker over Toledo. Toledo will hold the tiebreaker over Ohio. So it's just going to be a mess. Ohio won this first game, and I've been seeing a ton of line movement to the over. Obviously, I think that is because of their first game. 80-72 first matchup. Again, this is what I say usually is you're going to see a public influx of money, guys, throughout the day. At some point, the public is going to be like, oh, there's not that many games. This is the one I want to take. Let's look at the matchup. All right, we'll look at the matchup. Kent State gave up 80 points to this Ohio team. This is the 4th game of the season in conference for them. This game played to about 65 to 68 possessions. I'm kind of guessing here. I'm on the numbers here, but 68 possessions. Ohio shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 87% from the line. Ohio's not going to do that again. Like, Ohio's not going to blow these guys up. Like, you just saw Kent State shut down Toledo in Toledo and held Toledo to 33% from 3, 35% from the field, in turning them over 11 times. So I don't foresee Ohio doing that again, shooting that well. Kent State has really, really turned a corner. Kent State is hot right now. 2, 4, 7 straight wins. Now we're getting Ohio, the top place team, coming into their building. And I'm very, very excited for this under because let's break down the numbers here of Ohio first. Pretty efficient adjusted offense, 106 in the country. Kent State's at 222 adjusted offense. Both teams 93 and 94 in adjusted defense. And the tempo is going to be probably around 66 possessions. That's right in the middle of both of them. But this is where I like to get into some more, a little bit more numbers here. Is Kent State's offense okay? 70 points per game. Ohio's defense is pretty good, giving up 66 points per game. But this is where the over would come into play, as Ohio's offense scores 75 points per game. Kent State's defense only allows 63.5. They're 44th in the country in points allowed. And if you want to go into your trends, I know some people like trends. Ohio is actually a 1-point dog in this game. The under is 5-0 when Ohio's is underdog, which I think was a pretty big stat because it's undefeated, right? 8-1 to the under in their last 9 games versus a team with a winning percentage over 60%. Under is 4-1 in the last 5 games after scoring 90 in their previous game. There's a couple of trends I found throughout the internet here, but this is huge. Okay, this is huge, right? This is going to be in Kent State. Obviously, a big game. I mentioned that a few times already. Ohio scores 75 points per game, but when we get to it and we're on the road, when we take Ohio on the road, it is a different ball game. Ohio only scores 67 points per game on the road. That's an 8-point difference. And Kent State's defense actually gets better, 4 points better, 61 points allowed on defense. So we're going into a place where the game's going to slow down. Kent State is finally learning how to implement their tempo. That is how they're winning these games. That's why they're beating these fast-paced teams. Obviously, Bowling Green going to fly over. Those guys run. But it actually hit the under in the game because it was a 140 or 76-68. Akron, they just played 66-64. Eastern Michigan, obviously going to fly. They scored 161. But when it comes down to it, and they play these upper echelon teams, like your Akron, who I believe Akron is sitting in the 5s or right behind Buffalo. So let's look at it. Buffalo's last game against them, 54-51 loss, but they slowed the game down, right? And Buffalo plays pretty fast. When you play against Akron, number 5 team, slowed the game down, 130. Toledo slowed the game down, 132. So when they get to these upper echelon teams, even Toledo's first game, 66-63, right? When they play the better teams of this conference, they know what they need to do. When you're playing Miami of Ohio, Ball State, you don't got to worry about that. You can let them run. And you know that in the half court, when it comes down to it, I can beat you in the half court because these guys cannot score on us in the half court. So we're going to have that type of game here. Obviously, the Ohio game was the only exception to that rule. And Ohio had to shoot the lights out for us to get there. I don't foresee 30 points made from 3 combined with 20 free throws. Right there's 50 of the 80 points on 3s and free throws. I don't see that happening. I see Kent State locking this up tonight, playing great defense, pushing to get to that top spot in the MAC. Never thought I would say that after the first half of this season. But Kent State is playing phenomenal basketball. Kent State's leading guy, I don't even remember how to say his first name, Carey. I'll try and say it here. I'll try to pronounce it. Sincere is what it spelled like. Sincere Carey, 18 a game, absolute stud. And yeah, Ohio's going to have a stud too on their team. I think he's averaging 20.1 a game, Mark Sears. So we're going to see 2 pretty good guards in this conference. We're going to see a really electric atmosphere. We're going to see Ohio traveling to Kent State. And I really think with all these numbers, we're going to see an under come to fruition. Lastly, I'll bring up just the last 5 games. Ohio's last 5, 3-2 to the over. And Kent State is 3-2 to the under. Last 3 have been under. They actually went under to Bowling Green, who's a fast-paced team. I think I had the over in the Eastern Michigan game where they put it at a weird number there, but really like this under here. Kent State, Ohio, under 137.5, minus 110. I'm finding this on PointsBet, and I believe a couple other spots have it at that price. Let me just make sure I get it for you. Caesars, PointsBet, Bet365, and FanDuel. All of them have that number. So go lock this in. I think it ends up moving down a little bit more once people actually start looking at that first game matchup. But we'll take the public money right now and hit and fade it right away and go to the under. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully see you guys tomorrow. I'll try and record from my hotel room, but have Have a good one, guys, and talk to you soon.